2010.com. Please go there today. Donate whatever you can. I don't care if it's $5, $10.
Well, let me ask you this, because you were there when Congressman Paul spoke last night when he came in and so forth. And one of the high points I took away from that discussion was he's starting to he's helping define, we talk about non-interventionism is where I'm going with this, okay? Because when we break it all down, that seems to be the biggest sticking point within the Republican Party. They can understand sound money, they can get, constitutionalism, but when it comes to non-interventionism, we don't, deploying our empire worldwide, this is where people break ranks. And what do you say to those that would say, as Congressman Paul said, if you go down that path, they'll say, oh, you're just a blame America first person, that they're coming here. What's your take?
That's a hard argument for people. And in my district, I've developed basically an educational stance on it. The one thing that all Republicans will agree is socialism is bad. And so I asked them, I say, if socialism is bad, we shouldn't be subsidizing it, because they understand that subsidizing socialism is just encouraging it. And they say, well, if you look at Europe and Canada and all these other socialist countries, we subsidize them with our military. We have bases over there, billion-dollar bases, like in England and other areas, and they don't have to pay for a Department of Defense. They don't have to pay for a military. We're footing the bill. So realistically, we're so adamant against their style of government, yet we actually pay to allow them to do that. Would you want to continue that? And they vehemently say no. And so when it's put in that context, without the tag, and I will tell them I'm a non-interventionist, and when they say, oh, so, they always get that age-old adage, oh, so you're an isolationist. I say, no, that's the opposite, because what we're doing right now is isolationism. Because we tell the country...
Will, repeat. I didn't understand that last couple sentences. Repeat that and one more time.
Sure. The people say, as a non-interventionalist, they say, oh, so you're an isolationist. They say, no. Well, we are. What we're doing right now, where we go around and we have over 740 bases around the world. We're in 140 different countries, and we either subsidize or we bomb a country. That's the only two options we give them, and that is isolationism. Originally, the Founding Fathers said, have trade with all, entangling alliances with none, and honest friendship. And this was, Thomas Jefferson and the others, they understood this, because once they looked at, Europe was a perfect example of once they got into entangling alliances, and next thing you know, you set off world wars. And we can learn from the past mistakes of history, and we can do the right thing this time.
Right, and this is from a man, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, who served 5 years in the Navy, in naval intelligence, and you were in Iran and Iraq. Tell us, what are we doing in Iran and Iraq, in your opinion, after serving in the military for 5 years over there?
Well, let me clarify a little bit about the Iran and Iraq thing. As an intelligence operative that I was earlier, we have certain platforms, so we don't have to be geographically in the location.
Hey, Will, can you stay on after this? We got a break coming up here. Can you stay on with us and answer that question right after the break?
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Will. Thank you. Stay with us here on Republic Broadcasting Network. The Common Sense Revisited, and I apologize for the compressed time frame here, Will. We packed a lot in the hour. Go ahead and wrap up your thoughts on Clyde's last question.
So, with the Middle East and Iraq and all this, I see us as, when we go over, first of all, we set people up that are supposed to be our friends, then they turn around and they're our enemies. We set Saddam up, enemy. Musharraf, not working out. The Mujahideen that we trained, the first 300 to fight off the Russians. I mean, this is a clear trend, and it's a clear pattern. And if we, the definition of insanity is expecting different results from doing the same thing over and over again. And that's why I think our foreign policy is insane, that we continue to try to do these things where we can play chess pieces over there and it always comes back to haunt us. There's unintended consequences from a lot of it, and one of the biggest ones, for example, that whole area there is really, it's Israel's backyard. It's not like the U.S. is. And Israel is the one that actually has national security issues with that area, whereas we have, quote-unquote, national interests. So when it comes down to, like in the 1980s, when Iraq was actually building a nuclear reactor, we tried to hold Israel back from taking the nuclear reactor out. we said, we'll deal with it our own way and all this kind of stuff. Finally, Israel just did it themselves. Took in one F-16, took it out, came back.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was no war. There was no ground war. It was simple.
Yeah. Well, Will, I think you bring a common sense, revisited approach to your dialogue with people I've seen you interact with in Iowa. I think you're going to do well. Everybody check out willofthepeople2010.com. You can donate to his campaign if you're interested in supporting liberty in the U.S. Congress. I wish you the best of luck, Will, and really appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks for being on, Will.
Thanks, guys.
For everyone.